Best of luck. All right. I'll call upon you guys real quick on this first round of questions, and I'll hand it over to panelist 1. All right, this one's pretty simple. We all expected simple questions, but I promise they're going to heat up over time. First question, would you describe the state of the Sheriff's Department in one word? Or how would you, how would you describe the state of the Sheriff's Department in one word? And we'll start with Lander.
So, the current state of the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department has been immaculate, okay? With Carter as the sheriff, or the interim sheriff, and the previous undersheriff, well, he's the undersheriff, but it's been amazing. He's been able to ensure that operations are flowing properly within patrol operations, training divisions has been immaculate. We do have a lack of FTOs, however, Douglas Carter, the interim sheriff, steps in. He steps in and does ride-alongs. He's absolutely amazing. However, there's always room for improvement, all right? There's always room for improvement. And I personally think that, I personally think that there's always improvement, right? There needs to be improvement, and there's some things that just don't fit, right? Carter's done an amazing job with LASD. However, there's aspects of divisions that just need to get fixed, right? The Detectives Bureau has been good. However, it's been lacking the people. It's been lacking leadership. It's been lacking people to be there, right? And we need a sheriff that puts himself there and ensures that, we recruit people. There's no recruitment, right? Right now, under Bo, under Carter, where's the recruitment? I don't see it. Do you guys see it? No one sees it. But
I would concur.
Someone say something?
Your 90 seconds is up. Johnson, you'll have a second to come back. Anyways, Brandon, we'll have you go second here. Actually, real quick, just for this follow-up, or excuse me, rebuttal. We didn't get your one word, Lander. If you could describe in one word.
Immaculate.
Immaculate. That was the big word. Awesome. All right, Brandon. So how would you describe the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department in one word?
Tolerable. It's struggling. I'd say it's got some good things going for it. It's on a decent track, but it's definitely got a lot of improvement that needs done, and that definitely starts at the top. Simply put, there's a big distrust amongst the community and law enforcement that I think needs changed. I wouldn't say immaculate. That seems a little too far-fetched from my colleague there, but if he wants to live in a fantasy world, go right ahead. Nothing's immaculate. If it was immaculate, we wouldn't have half the problems that the agency does have on the inside.
Are you wanting to give up your time? You're currently 45 seconds in out of your 90 seconds.
45, okay. With that said, I mean, it definitely has a lot of room for improvements. It does. Like I've stated, I'm not going to take up too much time and just repeat the same thing, but I'm more than willing to answer questions on that if anybody has them. So I'm going to go ahead and end it there.
Okay, we appreciate it. Immaculate. Can we get an immaculate count, guys, by the way? I think we're on like 6 or 7. That was unintended. I apologize. That was really unintended. That was horrible. All right, Johnson, we'll have you you go. We'll start your 90 seconds. So if you can describe this.
Thank you very much. All right, gentlemen. I'm going to say it plain and simple, right? There's one word to describe our current state of our department. It's at a crossroad. You know what I mean? Big old compound word there, because you see both sides of the aisle, right? We got Lander who's saying that we're immaculate, and then we got Brenning over here saying that, we're horrible. But we're in a crossroads, right? You can see where the benefits and the peaks of the department are, especially over the traffic service division. We got that running smoothly. We got as many units on as possible, enforcing as much law and order as possible. And that's overall the goal of the department, right? Enforce law and order, make sure everything is running smoothly throughout the state, and make sure that every citizen has peace of mind when they put their head on their pillow at night. I would say, yes, we could absolutely do better in terms of recruitment. I think that if we could get the number of deputies up, get them sworn in, get them on the streets, help them protect the state, that is definitely key. However, I do believe that within the
I have messed up. Give me a second, guys. Alright, so I've done something which messed up everything. So I gotta redo everything here. That means I gotta reset my Discord here. Fortunately. Just give me a second. Discord is being stupid here. Hate doing this. Alright, we're gonna try this again. We'll try with something else. Alright, boys, we might be back in. Alright, we're back in, boys.
Or we've got individuals within your agencies that have ran up on individuals, beating elderly couples and elderly ladies in alleyways. We've got Mr. Jason Avery. Let's see, Joshua Gambino. We've got other individuals like that. I mean,
So Gambino was terminated 4 months ago. Avery has not been very active. He's had separate affairs, so I don't see how these allegations are anywhere near true.
Gentlemen, 45 seconds is up. Carter, I'm giving you 15 seconds if you have anything left in your rebuttal.
That's basically it. Brenning doesn't really have any foundation for anything he's saying.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Gentlemen, stand by for about 1 more minute. I'm about to roll through the gate and then I'll be back. Sorry about that. Just avoid
No
me.
worries. Yep, no worries. All right, Pickens, you have 45 seconds, or excuse me, you have 90 seconds on this answer. Once again, to remind before we move to panelist one, if you could describe the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department in one word, what would that be and why?
So I would say, honestly, horrible, terrible. I want to use multiple words, but it's just kind of, I can't describe how bad that department has been in the last 2 months. The department has been poorly struggling, and we all know that. It's been struggling since Sheriff Bo was here, and ever since we had the same administration team they've been having for a while. It's barely taking them time now for an election to happen, to finally make changes, to finally build relationships with other departments and trying to change things. And I just think that, we have people in that leadership position who don't care about nothing but their job and how they elect other people.
With that, Pickens, is that your final? You're at 45 seconds out of your 90 seconds.
Yeah, that's all I got. Thank you.
All right, awesome. We'll touch upon that. I'd like to welcome panelist one, Alex Michelson, to come to the stage. And this gentleman, or ladies and gentlemen, this is where the questions do indeed start to kind of pick up over time. Same with panelist two, Nora O'Donnell. Mr. Michelson, if you could.
Good evening. First question for the candidates here. Are you an independent or a puppet of the command team?
Who's answering that?
I'll take that answer. I believe the only correct answer here should be independent, right? We got some individuals here who really are interested in just being that puppet. However, I don't believe that's in the best interest of the department. I believe being an independent like myself, I believe in a pretty unorthodox style of leadership where we start from the bottom up. I believe every deputy, no matter how many stripes they have, no matter if their collar is shiny or not, has a role as a leader within the department and was within the community. So I believe being an independent is crucial to being a good leader because it allows you to be free thinking and come up with more ideas to open up the department to be a better place for deputies and for the citizens of California. With that, I yield my time.
Time is yielded. Panelist one.
We will move on to Brenning, if you want to answer the question.
Yeah, can you go ahead and ask the question again for me, sir?
Yes, sir. Are you independent or a puppet of the command team?
Okay, perfect. So I can actually confidently say I'm an independent party in this. In no way am I tied to the command team of LASD at this time. I'm solely going in this with the mindset of change, and like Mr. Johnson said, I'm going to have to agree with him on that. You can't go in this mindset of wanting to be a puppet of administration, anything like that. You need to come in and have your own ideas in order to improve the department. I do believe that leaders should possess qualities that's not going to make them a sheep. You need to stand out. You need to be someone that's going to carry the department forward, not follow the ways of the department currently. So it definitely, I can confidently say I'm an independent runner on this.
Okay, thank
45 seconds for in there.
Yep, I'll
Last
be ending
one.
my time there.
you. Okay. Candidate Terry Lander, if you want to answer the question. Are you an independent or a puppet of the command team?
I'm gonna say I'm an independent. I know some of you guys are gonna say, he's been glazing Carter so much. However, I'm coming at this not as a puppet of the current administration. However, I'm a sergeant. I'm a IA agent. I'm firsthand in the department, right? I'm ensuring everything is running smoothly. If I've been talking to some of these candidates, they're saying corruption and all this bullshit. I'm just here to make sure that whoever is selected as the next sheriff, if that's me, if that's Carter, if that's Brenny, if that's Johnson, whoever is selected is there for the people. They're there for the deputies as well, because we need someone that also cares about the deputies. They care about, ensuring that, our deputies aren't overworked. But I'm just here for the people. I'm here for the deputies. And I'm here to make sure corruption is ended, which there is no corruption. I'm just here to ensure there's no corruption. So yeah, that's it.
Time in. Panelist one.
Can I add a rebuttal to that before we continue?
Absolutely.
All right, Mr. Lander, I got a quick question for you. You say you are not a puppet of the organization. However, you openly are, in your opening statement alone, were toting on how good our current administration is, almost promoting it as if you don't want the position, as if you were trying to be here just to promote another candidate. Is there a reason why you are so heavily towards that? Do you want to follow in the same command principle? Is there like a goal oriented behind why you're so interested in the way Mr. Carter has ran the department so far? With that, I yield.
Yielded at 28 seconds. You have 45 to rebuttal.
All right. So here's the thing, right? It's simply because Carter, the way he's ran the agency or how the department, how it has been within the last few months, is because he's improved the department. I'm here to, if he's not selected, that there's another option within the current LASD command team to actually continue the pathway that Carter has been, paving for us, right? You're saying that, there's corruption when we've talked. You said there's corruption, but whenever I asked you for what the corruption was, you're just bullshitting, right? You're not stating any factual information. Even whenever you're talking to Carter, going after him, saying there's corruption within your department, guess what? You're giving us names from months ago, whenever he wasn't even the undersheriff. During his time as the undersheriff, he's fixed
That
it.
wasn't me who said
Lander,
that.
your
That was
45
not
seconds
me.
is up.
Okay.
That was not me who alleged the corruption. For me personally, I have no issues of personal corruption that I've seen within the department. I believe the department is doing well in terms of that, and there's definitely checks and balances within IA. So I can guarantee you right now that was not myself who came up with those accusations.
Gentlemen, just to to reiterate, or excuse me, to clarify this, the two people who had made claims to possible corruption would be Pickens and Brenning. Brenning, I believe you want to speak. The floor is yours for 45, and then unless Pickens has something to rebuttal, we'll go to the next question. Brenning, you first, 45.
I actually was going to respond to one of the comments that I seen from one of the community members, if that's okay, real quick. That's actually what I was typing on. Biggest thing to them, yes, I do intend on leaving LAFD in the event I'm elected sheriff, and that is something that has been common knowledge since day one. I went to LAFD to try and get them up and running. However, I do want to say something to Mr. Lander real quick. You were saying that you're not a part of the, I guess, the administration puppetry, really. However, like Mr. Johnson said, this whole time, it really doesn't seem like you're running for a position. You're really just trying to promote Mr. Carter here. When if I remember correctly, you want to vote someone who's not going for corruption, and bribery to me seems like a form of corruption. Mr. Carter, didn't you approach me as well as Mr. Aguilar, a prior candidate or a nominee for
Brenning, your
this
45
position?
seconds is up.
All right, I'll yield there.
Carter, if you'd like to rebuttal real quickly, then I have to hand it off to Pickens so we can get to the next question, as we need to move into time.
Sure, I will very much go for it. So, Brenning, me approaching you about being in sheriff, to clarify on what you said or what you're going to say is that we all share the same goals. That's why the three of us were running for sheriff. So, in any sense, all three of us had the same goals. All three of us had the same intentions. So, if anything, it didn't really matter which one of the three of us were going to get sheriff, at least until now, where I'm starting to see these allegations that you're actually throwing around about the LASD, and it's starting to appear to me that you don't have the same intentions that me and Aguilar were trying to share. You were trying to sweep us at the ankles. So if that's the path you want to go, I won't stop you, but I also won't help you on either.
Awesome. Okay, we'll leave that there. Pickens, I believe you had a rebuttal on the topic of corruption claims you had made. If you'd like to take the floor.
I just have a question for Mr. Carter.
Quickly, as we need to move to the next topic.
So, Carter, later you stated when you were asked a question that you want the department to be spec, kind of. That's one word you were described the department. As in spec, you know that in LA there's not a Canadian sheriff, so how would you being Canadian fit in that position?
The same way that I fit in the position since I've been a deputy sheriff trainee 6 months ago.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I've been here since deputy sheriff trainee, and I am still here today, so if I'm not able to learn and adapt, then who am I?
Okay, time was verbally yielded to Carter. 45 seconds is up. Panelist one, if you would continue with the next question, as I believe the questions will now begin to heat up.
Yes, our next question. How do you plan to change the department's culture and approach to checks and balances? We'll start with Jonas Brenning here.
If you don't mind me asking, panelists, can you elaborate a little bit more on what you're wanting to know? Just so I can better answer your question.
How do you plan to change the culture of the department, how people view it, as well as the checks and balances and how you handle situations that the department goes through with
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously, I come from a background of IRL law enforcement, and public image is a big deal. That's 99% of the job, actually. So with that said, what I plan to implement is more cohesion between the law enforcement agency and the public, allowing a more transparent agency to be ran, keeping them more in the loop, keeping them more informed of what's actually going on behind closed doors. I believe in a no-nonsense policy, and I do believe in full transparency. That's the only way you can gain the trust of the public to ensure best policing. Not all policing needs to be done by throwing in someone in cuffs. Going out in your public, just making an appearance, being there for the community to assist them. That's what we do. We're public servants. So at the end of the day, a more transparent outcome is what I'm trying to do. Whether it's documents that the public does have a right to see and needs to be aware of, or situations going on within the agency that the community needs to be aware of. That's their right as the public to know what's going on behind those doors.
Time yielded at 55. If you want to ask the next question, panelist one, to ask the same question to one of the other four candidates.
Yes, next question is going to Pickens here. How do you plan to change the department's culture and approach to checks and balances?
The way I plan on changing the department is kind of more of
Pickens?
Sounds to me like Mr. Pickens doesn't have any plans to change anything. Sounds like he likes keeping the community in the blind, not letting them know what's going on behind closed doors, if you ask me.
Mr. Pickens, can you confirm technical issues? Your time has stopped at 29 seconds. Okay, looks like we'll be coming back to Pickens. Panelist one, if you want to ask that same
Moderator,
question.
if I may take around 120 seconds of a moment for me.
On a hold? Or for a rebuttal?
Yes.
Okay.
A moment for me to speak.
I can only guarantee you 45 seconds due to the rules.
Okay. I have a few things that I would like to present to the community, and that
Time is
is mostly what I need the time for. So just as a gander that I want to present to the community, if I can find it here, where is it? I had it on my desktop here. Give me a moment to find it again. Move on to the next person.
Okay. I'll move to the next candidate here.
Pickens is back.
Okay, perfect. Pickens, do you need me to reiterate the question for you? Okay.
Panelist one, I believe he's asking the question.
Is he? I can't hear him at all. Okay, I'll restate the question here for you. How do you plan to change the department's culture and approach to checks and balances?
Okay, time yielded. Panelist one.
All right. Next up, Terry Lander. How do you plan to change the department's culture and approach to checks and balances?
So realistically, right now, there's not much. However, some of the change we do need would be making a better IA team. However, the checks and balances is good right now. However, we don't have enough minds within our internal affairs team, and I think that's the main thing we need to focus on. If I'm elected as the sheriff, or Carter becomes a sheriff, as me and him have talked about this, we are going to implement more IA agents, people that are not biased, and they are in the streets. They understand the struggles of law enforcement officers, and basically, we just need it. We need IA officers. Overall, we don't have enough IA officers or agents to ensure proper supervision. So that's about it.
Time yielded at 78 seconds. Panelist one.
Okay. Carter, are you here?
Yes, I am.
Okay. If you'd like to answer the question, how do you plan to change the department's culture and approach to checks and balances?
So with the way that the department has been going, I would say I want to follow the department's priority list. As a few people would know, mostly for the LASD command team, is we have a list of priorities that we've been conducting. There's been other candidates who are saying that they don't see any changes. I do just want to say that just because we're not informing you that these changes are happening doesn't mean they're not happening. We do have a long list of things that we do intend to do for the department, which has included opening up the Cops Bureau, opening up the LA Impact Bureau, creating a timesheet since former Sheriff Bo has left. A big list of priorities was replacing the stuff that Sheriff Bo has taken with him when he left. Mostly just being his bots and his websites that he created. I had to basically create more manual items to replace them. So we do have a pretty extensive list of priorities that are still yet to be completed.
Sounds good. That was perfectly on timing for the 90 seconds. Is panelist 1, are you continuing, or is this being handed to panelist 2?
Handed to panelist 2.
I have not
Panelist-
answered that question yet.
Oh, you haven't? I do apologize.
Apologies,
Stand by.
sir.
We're going to ask the question to Johnson, and then we'll be able to give you a rebuttal.
Very well.
Okay. How do you plan to change the department's culture and approach to checks and balances?
I believe it's pretty simple. All right. This is on my platform. This is on the basis of why I am running. I've said it before. I will say it again. Ground up leadership. All right. Doesn't matter what you wear. You're a leader within the department. All right. You put on the uniform. You represent something. Okay. The community sees you in a certain way. You know what I mean? Like you have a standard to uphold. So it starts at the bottom. I believe that really helps it when everyone else is looking at each other, correcting each other, making sure everything is in good order and discipline is the basis of leadership, right? Going from the ground up, right? I do believe that we should revitalize IA, make it stronger, make sure we get independent analysts on OISs and other incidences that we would have like peer-to-peer as well as civilian analysts see in on these investigations to make sure it's all done fairly and within due time and within due process as they are aligned with the California police officer standards and training standards, as well as the federal and state law standards revolving investigations around OISs and officer incidents that get reported up to IA need to be investigated. I believe it starts from the ground. Good.
That was
as it
perfect. Another 90 seconds. The rebuttal for Brennan, you have 45 seconds.
I just had something I wanted to ask. So I noticed on the side there, we actually had an inside comment, and I hope the news, the media catches this as well. There was a insider comment that says, ever since that apparently LASD has done nothing, and I quote, "Let's be so fucking for real." Ever since Mr. Beeks left, they have been at a hard pause due to this election. I do have a question on that. That just seems kind of wrong, really. How are you going to pause a department that should be serving the community for an election? You should be able to balance both. The community should always come first, despite what you're running for, my man.
Okay, would you like to rebuttal on that, or would you like to skip over? Okay, I believe we're not. I believe panelist 2 was called on. Panelist 2, if you would like to start your questions.
Thank you, David. Good evening, everyone. Our first candidate is going to be Douglas Carter. He's currently serving as the interim sheriff of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department and assistant director of civilian operations. Carter has extensive experience in both LASD leadership and server leadership. He previously served as staff manager, where he implemented a two-team structure with a service staff team. The policy was intended to improve efficiency, though it drew criticism from dividing staff and reducing intake activity. With one foot in innovation and another in civilian operations, Carter is campaigning on a platform built around...
Nora, I believe you're having some microphone issues. You might have to retry again on that one. Nora, confirming you can hear us?
I could hear you.
Okay, we are unable to hear you. Unfortunately, you are cutting in and out. We're going to need you to go again, and we are obviously working with your current cold.
As I was saying, our first candidate, Douglas Carter, currently serving as the interim sheriff of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department and the assistant director of civilian operations for the community. Carter has extensive experience in both LASD leadership and server leadership. He previously served as a staff manager where he implemented a two-team structure within the server staff team. The policy was extended to improve efficiency, though it drew criticism for dividing the team itself and reducing intake activity. With one foot in department administration and another in civilian operations, Carter is campaigning on a platform built around accountability, structure, and transparency. So are you ready for my questions, Mr. Carter?
I am.
You're already, of course, interim sheriff of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. How do you evaluate your performance so far, and what needs to be improved within LASD?
I don't evaluate my own performance. I let the people around me evaluate my performance, including the people outside of the department. Being a member of the LASD, when I first joined the department, the LASD was in a very low point. essentially being hated by other departments, for lack of a better word. We didn't have very Okay, thank you. So we didn't have very many good connections when I first joined in the month of March. Since then, I have focused much dedication on building the department's reputation, which, as we can see today, has much improved. Under my leadership, I believe that it has grown with the many policies that I have made and the many criticisms to some of the department's operations and some of the ways that the deputies have conducted themselves in the past. As for now, I do see that the department has gone into a much better way, as we have seen much verbal acceptance and approval of the new LASD that we have. As for right now, I do believe that is a good standard for the LASD, and I hope that we can not only maintain it but improve it.
Perfect.
Okay.
That was around your 90 seconds. Panelist 2.
Interim Sheriff Carter. As someone who has served as Assistant Director of Civilian Operations, a server administrator, and staff manager, how do you respond to those who claim your pursuit of sheriff is more driven by power than public service?
Well, again, I will bring up the people who have put their words around me. I will very much say that there are a lot of people who say that I put one foot after the other. If there is at any point any allegation that I am chasing this for power, I do want to see where I'm going wrong. I do want to see at any point that I am going in the wrong direction, which I have very much seen that I have been going in the wrong direction from members, which every time that I have been told, I have corrected myself almost immediately. As for my personal beliefs on why I'm going for sheriff, I believe that personally, in my own mind, I am chasing sheriff for the one reason of I have built the structure of people who trust me, and me going into sheriff is only something that my department is going to want me to do.
Time yielded at 60 seconds. Panelist 2.
Thank you. Interim Sheriff Carter, the two-team system was meant to streamline operations, but ended up dividing staff. What lessons did you learn from that experience?
From that experience, I did learn from dividing the staff team that there are many people who want to join essentially one group that is dedicated to what it is advertised as. As many people have seen in other cities, the staff team is dedicated to the player action team solely. If anything, there is a completely separate interviewing department within the staff team. From what I have seen is that when people want to get into the staff team, they don't find themselves compatible with the recruitment team, in the sense that they are being forced to do it. I wouldn't say it was me that was forcing them to do it. I wanted to create more of a environment where people knew what they were walking into. But unfortunately, not being at the very top of where I was, I do believe that I was limited on what I could do. Even as a staff manager, there was only so much I could say or do that would actually go through. From word of Cameron Rodriguez, I was told that I was supposed to receive operations or O1 of the staff team. Though it never ended up happening, it was because that I left the staff team that it ended up forfeiting. I left the staff team to pursue the position of undersheriff at the command of Jimmy Bowe. So I was never really able to get that position. Otherwise, if I was able to get that position, I would have created a completely different department for recruitment. So it's not anything that I'm learning now, but it's stuff that I had learned in the moment of receiving that correction from the people above me.
Okay, time yielded. Panelist 3.
I'll like to inform everybody here that we're going to be going around for each candidate, as I have specific questions for each candidate based off their background and what they have done for the server. So don't feel left out. We're going to be asking all of you guys questions specifically to you. So, Interim Sheriff Carter, some members have criticized you for inconsistent accountability under your leadership. How will you ensure fairness across all divisions, across the whole entire board?
In what ways do you mean that there's been unbalanced accountability?
Panelist 2.
Unbalanced accountability. Like you guys are not taking responsibilities for the actions you guys have done within LASD.
Do you have any situations where there's been times where we had incidents that hadn't taken any actions for?
Currently not at this time.
Okay, well,
just real quick, to butt in. I believe she was given the wrong list real quick, so that's 100%. Apologies on that. The question still stands. To give you one scenario, a huge concern with the people within the community, and I'll let you answer within 90 seconds, is the department beef between SEB and LAPD Metro. Was one that seemed to have no, what is the word I'm looking for here, punishments or even any seemed to reach out to each other. And that was while Sheriff Bo was there, but you were still the acting under sheriff at that time.
So there were very much actions to get them to become more compatible with each other. As you can see right now, being us, the people who are higher in the chain of commands, we can see that LASD Special Enforcement Bureau and LAPD Metro is getting a lot better in a relationship. The LASD didn't conduct much internal. It didn't conduct much internal investigation itself, as those investigations and punishments were handled by the server itself. They were handled by Southern California themselves.
Sounds good. We can yield your time at 38 seconds. Panelist 2, would you like to continue, or would you like to hand this over to Panelist 1? I believe. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. I shall continue.
Time is yours.
Okay, this is last and final questions for you, Interim Sheriff Carter. You've been central to both the department's progress and controversy. Why should voters give you the top job now?
If anything, the reason why voters should give me the top job now is essentially what I have put behind me already. I already have quite the footprint of the things that I have done, one being creating a structure within the department. I do want to say, and this is a scenario that happened within the department, and I do believe Mr. David, I don't know how to pronounce the last name, but David is aware of this situation. When I was first promoted to area commander, there was 2 people who were brought in under the command of Sheriff Jimmy Bo. I wasn't aware of the action, but he brought in 2 people whom I will not say their names. They were brought in as under sheriff and assistant sheriff. They were immediately brought with much disagreement for why they were in the department, much less the fact of who they were, but more the fact of the positions they were given. In that situation, when we did have the LASD internal meeting, there was very much a lot of communication of people who desired to have me be their undersheriff rather than the people who
Sheriff
came
Carter,
in.
your 90 seconds is up.
I shall yield it there then.
That concludes Interim Sheriff Carter's questioning. Does any candidate have any rebuttals to his responses? If so, you would have 45 seconds for a rebuttal.
Going once, going twice. 3 times, no rebuttals on that. Panelist 2.
Okay. We're gonna speed this up, as I'm sure some of you are some of you are getting bored here. So we're gonna speed this up. I'm gonna ask each candidate different questions. We're gonna go from one to the other. And yeah. We're going to be starting off with Chief Brenning. So you've held several leadership roles in different agencies. What make LASD the right fit for your leadership now?
I apologize, ma'am. Can you, your microphone kind of cut out on me. Can you repeat the question for me, please?
You have held several leadership roles in different agencies.
Yes, ma'am.
What makes LASD the right fit for your leadership now?
Absolutely. So the reason LASD would be the right fit for me, and this goes back to my full wave of transparency. I've actually been in a leadership position within LASD beforehand. Like I said, I've got IRL experience of working in a law enforcement department where I've held leadership positions before. I know what truly is required to be a leader, especially in law enforcement. Now, to elaborate, some of you understand, I was in leadership during a prior administration, which I will fully admit was not really ran the best. However, the prior administration that was with me, while they were removed, I was kept. That clearly shows something about my character. It clearly shows that I'm a competent and good leader and I'm fit for this job.
Time is yielded at 41 seconds. Panelist 2.
Sounds good. We'll go be moving on to Sergeant Terry Lander. Sergeant Lander, you've been dismissed from the California Highway Patrol for disobeying orders and insubordination. Why should voters now trust you to lead one of the largest law enforcement agencies in the state?
Insubordination, I don't know how. I mean, maybe insubordination, which I was stated by the, who was it? A commissioner at the time, when there was clear transcripts of me replying to that commissioner multiple times. However, the commissioner just never went ahead and contacted me, which shows lack of competence from the commissioner and shows that that person shouldn't be where they are. It also shows that, I mean, I could bring more transcripts. However, there's multiple transcripts I've sent to multiple people stating that I've contacted the sheriff. However, insubordination was just a way to get me out of there because the commissioner had beef with me, essentially. And that's why Carter had brought me in, because he knew where the commissioner was corrupt. So if you want to do a follow-up question, go ahead.
Real quick, just to add on to that. Just to do a quick fact check on it, just to mention that your claim or the claim towards you for insubordination and those rules were reviewed by Mike Street and other leadership at that time, and was once again ruled as insubordination from the leadership of the community at that time, not counting myself, as I didn't have votes in it due to bias reasons, as I was the commissioner at the time. Panelist 2, if you have a question.
Can I add to that real quick?
You have 45 seconds for your rebuttal.
Yeah, so if we're going to say that it was insubordinations when clearly stated to the internal affairs agent that sent me my termination letter, I stated what exactly. The insubordination was clearly because I did not respond for a meeting with the commissioner, correct? And because of that, I have transcripts in which multiple law enforcement agency staff members quite literally stated that I was not in the wrong, that it was not insubordination, and it was clearly to get me out of the California Highway Patrol because they knew that within my position as an internal affairs officer, agent, I have fixed and removed corruption within the California Highway Patrol. I had fixed the beef within CHP and LASD. I don't know where insubordination had ever come up.
Okay, your time is up. Panelist 2, do you have anything, any question or follow-up to that?
No. We're going to be moving on to a different candidate.
Sounds good.
Lieutenant Love Pickens, I have a question for you. Having been removed from the community for misconduct and derogatory language, how can you assure voters that you've changed and will enforce higher standards?
Okay, you have your time at 36 seconds. Just do a quick fact check on that. There was clips of Lieutenant Pickens saying derogatory slurs and was reviewed by higher leadership from head administrator down, as well as the higher server leadership.
If I may
Panelist 2.
demonstrate some form of evidence with panelist 2 on candidate Pickens' conduct.
You are allowed for 45 seconds, and the chat is welcome to look over as Carter drops some evidence on his claim.
Thank
45
you.
seconds starts now.
So if everyone could go ahead and take a look at the chat within this debate, I'm going to put in 3 images. These are all images of candidate Pickens' communication with an unidentified member of the debate. This was a candidate who was within the run, which he has specifically said that he wants other candidates to resign from the race itself, and he wants them to support himself, which he also verbally says that he will terminate members of the LASD administration to bring in his endorsers. So I don't really see how he is a very compatible member of the department if he's only going to come in to strike down the people
Your
who
45
have
seconds is
built
ended.
the department.
To Sheriff Carter. Pickens, you have a rebuttal for 45 seconds, and we'll end after you. Starting now. Time yielded at 26 seconds. As to update and make the flow for panelists 1 and 2, you guys have been doing awesome, and we do appreciate you. Panelist 1, I'll call on you, and then I'm going to call on panelist 2 after you. Panelist 1 with a question.
Yes. This question is going to be for Johnson here. Okay.
Very well.
You were dismissed from the California Highway Patrol for disobeying orders and refusing to acknowledge your superior's authorities. If you could not respect the chain of command, then why should voters trust you to command one of the most powerful law enforcement agencies in the state?
So how about we fact check? How about we bring up some actual data, and I actually have transcripts and evidence of what actually happened. Truthfully, in this case, it would have been a rank over billet. All right, I had an individual who was honestly, in my opinion, jealous. The fact that I was in a polar bear vehicle, I was acting as primary collision factor, as in spec guidelines, as in everything, acting as the SCB or special enforcement bureau commander at that time. All right, I was working well within my rights. He tried to give me an unlawful order, and I simply didn't follow it. Because truth is, if we're trying to be doing a spec scene, right, and we're trying to have it be spec, then you need to let the individuals who are running the special enforcement agencies and bureaus within the department do what they need to do, right? If you're just jealous and you're trying to make an unlawful order, we need to be able to stand up for it and tell our leadership that no to their face, because that goes back to checks and balances. If we can't have checks and balances within the higher ups, and they're just gonna try to go over our heads, basically, it's not really fair. You know what I mean? I believe personally it was corruption that actually got me terminated, but of course, there's no IA investigation to actually go under my termination. So if you could pull up a full IA investigation, that'd be great, because I was fired without that full investigation. There's a reason I was brought over to LASD, and there's a reason I'm in the position I am currently. It's because they know what I can do. They know how to
Johnson, your
perform.
90 seconds are up, sir.
Very well.
We appreciate that. Just to do a quick claim on that as well. That case was actually overlooked by Department Oversight member Michael Street, who then confirmed that case was allowed, other than a minor conflict, which was the removal prior to the sit down and talk with Mr. Johnson's. But CHP at that time did have an at-will fire at that time. We appreciate that, Mr. Johnson. Panelist number 2.
Oh.
Sure, Pickens, you have 45 seconds on the floor real quick. Starting now.
Again, that goes back to the enforcement that I was doing specifically. There was a low number of officers at the time, so we didn't technically rate 2 primary collision factor vehicles, also known as polar bear vehicles, on the right at a time. I believe that I was being asked to do it simply due to the fact that he wanted to be in it. Because I do believe that, if I do remember correctly, he was in a slick top vehicle, which was close to a polar bear, but not quite a polar bear. So I believe it was simply him wanting to be in a polar bear. I said slicked up.
Gentlemen, 45 seconds is up. We appreciate your guys' time on that one, as we can move to focused and well debate, which we appreciate both of your answers. Just real quickly to touch on a quick topic before I hand this over to panelists two. Douglas Carter, the interim sheriff, and Sergeant Lander. We're seeing a lot of claims, especially from your admin team right now, claiming you guys are running together. I'm going to give you both 30 seconds to respond, starting with interim sheriff Carter.
So, in the way that we are running together, do you mean that we are running as a friend group who only cares about ourselves?
To a degree, is what they're saying. They're also saying that you will be taking the sheriff's spot and then launching Lander up past Sergeant to the undersheriff spot.
No, Lander is not moving anywhere. If anything, if he even wants to get to lieutenant, he has to work for that position. There was a time where it was actually the October 15th promotion cycle. He was put on a review list for lieutenant, which he did not make. So I don't
Mr.
see
Carter.
why he would be making undersheriff now.
30 seconds up. We thank you. Lander, quick touch on that. Once again, claims from your administration team as of right now on believing you both are secretly running together. 30 seconds.
Yeah, no. At the end of the day, I like his policies, but we're not running together. Me and him aren't even friends like that. I just, with how he's been running LASD, I liked it, and that's why I've been complimenting him. There's no running together. There was no undersheriff promise to me, like how Carter said. I was, put up for review for a lieutenant position. I did not make it. You got to work for your position, and that's how it should be. I'm not looking for undersheriff.
Sergeant Lander, your 30 seconds are up. We appreciate your answer. Now to hand this over to panelists two. Pickens, were you wanting to rebuttal? You have 45 seconds. Please make it quick. Time is yielded
If
at
I may
20
make a comment,
seconds.
15 seconds.
15 seconds, your time.
Okay, so I do just want to shoot this down. If there is anyone who's going to be taking an undersheriff position, it will be Joe Banks. That is the only person who's eligible for it.
We thank you for that. That was 10 seconds. Stand by real quick as panel is deciding something. Come on, can my panel decide this just real quickly, you two? Any second. My panel is taking forever. We do apologize. Okay, we're calling on panelist one. I appreciate you guys for that wait. We're sorry for the technical difficulties as we were having microphone problems. Panelist one.
Okay, this question is for Terry Lander here. If you give me 1 second. All right. As someone who was previously dismissed from your position within the Los Angeles Police Department, as well as the CHP, for failing to meet our requirements, and you've taken 3 LOAs within the main server, how can you assure the community that if elected sheriff, you will dedicate the necessary time and attention to the role and fulfill all of its responsibilities?
Yeah. So you could notice within the times that I had put in otherwise they weren't extended period of time. When I left LAPD, this was a while ago when I left, and I was removed because I didn't meet our requirements. It was because there was a time during my life that a family member had passed away, so I had completely left FiveM to focus on my personal life, on my studies, and everything that truly matters to me. So FiveM, were the department as well as the community, wasn't in my mind. But of course, over time, I have taken, LOAs. However, those LOAs were pretty short, maybe a week, and that time was simply just to, have some mental time as well as have some time to myself. That's going to be all.
Time yielded at 51 seconds. Just a reminder to those in the audience, there's 15 to 20 minutes left of this debate. Panelist 2, we will be calling on you. Ma'am, if you could take the floor.
Thank you. I'll be calling on Interim Sheriff Douglas Carter. I got a question for you. After learning that there would be an election for sheriff, you, as interim sheriff, introduced a policy requiring all members of command, including the office of sheriff, to gain subordinate approval for any departmental changes before implementation. Critics argue that this was designed so that if you lost the election, you could still retain influence over the department. How do you respond to preserve your power rather than empower department members or promote transparency?
Yes, that policy was already in place before the election. I do believe I still have it here if I can demonstrate it to the community here. But the policy was in place before the election, I would say around 2 to 3 weeks before. Essentially, the policy was created to create more autonomy within the department. The Policy 9, which is the administration policy, essentially says that we want to keep the department spec. So if a new sheriff comes in and says, hey, I don't like how SEB is run, I'm going to remove Quan and make it the way I want it, that cannot happen because the way that it is put together is fact-checked, it is made specifically spec, and that is what we're hoping to protect with Policy 9. It does not have any intention on protecting myself or protecting my assistant sheriffs. It is made specifically to protect the lieutenants and the captains of the department.
Time yielded 52 seconds. My apologies. I'm sure the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department is very thankful for your idea on that, but majority of people, especially unnamed sources from that area, do see you as weaponizing the system. Panelist one, if I can call on you, please, for a question, as we are running short on time and we need to move fast.
I had a rebuttal towards Carter as well.
Your rebuttal is 45 seconds long, please.
Carter, I have a very good question for you, all right? I've noticed that during this election, I feel like you've been almost using your ability and your power as the interim sheriff, right, in being the incumbent to promote yourself. Is there a reason for that? Or is it just kind of like luck at the draw situation where it just may seem like you're influencing in that way, but that is not your intent? With that, I yield.
Repeat the question. I didn't catch it.
Is there a reason why it seems almost as if you've been using your position as the incumbent to promote yourself in the election? It seems as though, from an outside perspective, that you are doing things that a lot of us tagging people, for example, that couldn't be able to do that to the whole department and to the community as a whole. It almost seems as if you're trying to promote yourself based off of the current position that you hold. Is there a reason for that, or is that just how it may seem?
Interim Sheriff Carter, you have 30 seconds on your follow-up.
So with that, I believe you're speaking on me using my department as my own platform for running for sheriff, as that is very much a normal practice when it comes to running for sheriff. I already have the platform under me. I don't need a separate platform in order to run for sheriff, as this is something that has been running for generations before us. So me utilizing my own department as a stage for being able to create more of a running for me, that is something that I did use, something that I will use again in the future.
Interim Sheriff Carter, your time is up at 38 seconds. Panelist one, we're calling on you. Once again, we're going to try and make this as quick as possible for everybody, that way, because we know we started this a little late. Panelist one, your question.
Okay. This is coming to, once again, Interim Sheriff Carter. This is sort of off of what you previously stated. As you've stated, your main idea behind the policy that you've implemented was to ensure the protection of the members of the SEB team just in case they weren't to be removed. As you know, the SEB team does seem to have issues or previously had issues with other departments and their members. Are you saying that you use the policy simply to protect this SEB team that you have strong ties with?
I'm not saying I'm using it. I'm not saying I'm using it to protect Quan himself. I'm using it to protect what he's built. So just because Quan has words to say to other departments does not reflect how he actually build his SCB. So if there is someone else who wants to take over SCB but run it the exact same way, then policy 9 does not affect that person anyway. I do also just want to go ahead and put into the debate chat the image and timestamps of the original policy 9. The reason why it was changed was in order to reorganize it and to add to it. I yield my statement here.
Statement's yielded at 38 seconds. Panelist 2.
Thank you. Give me a second here. I have a question for Chief Brenning.
Yeah, of course.
Given that you have taken multiple leave of absences due to having a demanding schedule,
Yes.
yet you are seeking to serve as sheriff, a role where deputies have expressed concern about prior leadership being absent in critical moments, how can you assure both deputies and the community that you will provide the consistent, present leadership the department needs?
Yes, so that's a great question. I'm more than happy to explain that. So obviously, a little background on me. I work emergency services for my day-to-day job. It is a rather demanding schedule. There has been times where I have had to take leave of absences. I will fully support this. This is very true, and I will not deny it. It goes along with my transparency. The way I can ensure all the employees of LASD, as well as employees of other agencies that I would hope to work very closely with, it's all about time management, which I've actually been able to fix. That was an issue that I struggled with on my own. I was working too much and putting too much on my plate. And even then, I'm still, and there are receipts to back this up, I've been able to balance my time with this community. I've been able to make a positive change in this community. Even in my time when I was prior leadership, I've been able to balance time there. Currently, I'm serving as the fire chief, and I've been able to manage time there. I've been doing trainings. I've been doing interviews. I've been updating the policies as well, and also been prepping my replacement. Of course. Thank you.
We appreciate your time. Panelist 2.
Sorry, I'm gonna be directing this question to Lieutenant Love Pickens. Mr. Pickens, are you here? Sorry. So how would you address deputies accused of harassment or discrimination under your command? I mean, I feel it's plain simple. How would you address deputies who are accused of harassment or discrimination under your command? Is that all you're going to be doing to address deputies accused of such actions?
Time is yielded at 47 seconds.
If possible, I would actually. Sorry, I apologize. If possible, I'd actually like to pick up that question.
You may pick up the question for a 30-second follow-up.
Okay, perfect. Can you please re-advise the question just so I can answer you accordingly, just to make sure I don't give you a false answer?
Yeah. How would you address deputies accused of harassment or discrimination under your command?
Absolutely. So I can tell you right now, harassment and discrimination will not be tolerated by any way, shape, or form. I will run off a no-nonsense policy. That's just simply not required and not permitted in an agency that I intend to run. It will not be allowed inside the department. It will not be allowed outside the department. I will not have anyone working for me as well as with me treating the community as well as other agencies poorly. That's a bad face and a bad look on the department. If we're wanting change, we need to start by changing ourselves.
Mr. Brennan,
to
30
better.
seconds is up, sir.
Absolutely. Thank you.
We thank you. Bring in Alex Michelson real quick. He's having issues. Pickens, can you speak just real quick just to ensure Mr. Michelson was not able to hear you? Michelson, are you having an issue? Are you able to hear him?
Yeah, still not able to.
Interesting. Okay, well, no worries. We'll just have you avoid questions to each other. Panelist 1, we're going to call on you.
Sounds good. This question is directed to Deputy Johnson here.
Bro.
From reports we've been getting, it seems to you have a bit of a hothead issue with you arguing with other department members on scenes to going head to head with the brass. How can you ensure that your department will not have these issues with one another or with other departments?
See, I believe that it's an issue rooted within the department itself. All right, if we don't have open and honest communication throughout the department to the point where it boils down on scene, like that's an issue. When you're not able to communicate and freely talk to individuals within department meetings, through other channels, other meetings like that, you create a melting pot of bad decisions that may be made. I think that if we could open up, especially like in our agency communication with our mutual aid departments, with the LAPD and CHP, like I've previously made statements on, that could really help basically merge the gap, if that makes sense. Like bring together, have a melting pot, almost like a sit down, almost like a mandatory fun day where people can actually get things off their chest so it doesn't boil down to that. Would that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Would you like to yield your time at 42 seconds, sir?
I could yield my time, and I can take follow-up questions on what I may have said from any of my opponents or the panel.
Opponents panel, any questions? Once or twice.
For who?
Johnson, on his statement he just made. Any questions on his statement?
No.
Nope. Okay. Time warning, guys, just to remind you, 15 minutes is left of this. 15 minutes is left of this, and there will be an RP ping afterwards. Quick question from myself to the rest of those here. A topic that hasn't been touched on, only you could either call it slander or kind of jabs or clips, as you can take it. The California Highway Patrol has not been mentioned a lot during this race. We've heard a lot from the LAPD side, but the California Highway Patrol does not have a voice or a person to vote for, as that is a huge chunk of people, as the California Highway Patrol is the active and biggest department at this time. My question to the candidates as I call upon you, why have you not reached out and made it very known to the California Highway Patrol? And if you have reached out, which we've noticed with Interim Sheriff Carter, why was it so late? I'm going to call on Love Pickens for this one. Mr. Pickens.
Please.
We hear you now.
There you go.
To put it in the most simplest way, the California Highway Patrol has not had a face to vote for, and no candidate has really reached out unless for a last second reach out. We want to know why the California Highway Patrol, since it's the biggest agency currently that's active due to the Department of Oversight statistics, they're wanting to know, and myself here, same with the community, of why that department has not been reached out, considering the amount of votes it could cast.
Permission to pick up the question, sir.
Stand by for a quick second, just for the people here.
Yes, sir.
Can you guys hear Pickens or no?
Yes.
I cannot, no.
Yes.
Okay, Bernie. Pickens, I'm going to need you to leave and rejoin and ask to speak, please. Like, completely leave the stage. Join back in. Interesting, okay. And then I'll
pick it up where he left off.
We'll hand it to Brenning. Brenning asked first. Brenning, if you could, with 80 seconds. And then Johnson, and then we'll...
So, can you do me a favor, like I've been asking the other panelists? Can you elaborate, re-advise the question just to make sure I answer you correctly, please?
Yes, sir. The easiest way to revise this question, the California Highway Patrol has not been spoke about from any of the candidates as of lately, other than possible slander or to take jabs at the agency or command team. They, from the department oversight standpoint of statistics, are the most active, with the most active patrol officers on per night. It's a pretty big team over there. So our question to you candidates are, why hasn't the CHP been reached out to?
Absolutely. So
it's a huge wave of votes. Sir.
Absolutely. So I actually reached out to them on November 9th, towards the beginning of my running. once I really decided to go forward with this. I reached out November 9th and kind of was trying to open a ticket with their leadership staff to discuss advancements, kind of where they stood. I wanted to have a meeting with them. I unfortunately never got a response back. It does kind of suck. I would love, if I am accepted into the position of sheriff, to reopen those doors to discuss communications with them, as they are a great asset to our community. They obviously take primary in pursuits. I would love to do some more interagency training and begin to speak with the leadership staff there. And I actually do have the transcripts of that ticket that I can provide if anybody is wanting that. I'm more than willing to show those of where I opened the ticket. And I did get a response from one of the members of their staff team, Mr. Ed, saying, wishing you all the best in your campaign and every success in achieving in your goals. So I do believe I ended on good terms with them. And if they'd be willing to enter communications with me again, I would be more than happy to do so.
Mr. Brown, your time is up. We appreciate you. I can't think of the word, excuse me. To reword this, excuse me. To put in a better word instead of using a big word. We have noticed people did reach out for a sponsorship, but my question is more for the California Highway Patrol officers who are underneath that administration team, like the captains, lieutenants, sergeants, and the officers, to vote for you. As obviously, just because the department's not sponsored doesn't mean you can't reach out to those individual voters. Mr. Cole Johnson, if you could please elaborate with 60 seconds. We're going to drop these down to 60 seconds, do our time crunch of 10 minutes.
Very well, it's plain and simple. All right. I didn't solicit a vote from anybody individually. No department, nobody got individually reached out to me, because I believe it's in the people's own interest to have a free thinking mind. When you're trying to campaign and get in their face and tell them, hey, vote for me, hey, vote for this, it's almost as if like they don't get to have that clear thinking mind. That's why like I left it. I had a very simple campaign message. I left it that. I'm not sitting out here trying to campaign because I think it's unprofessional to be like, hey, vote for me, vote for me, vote for me. It's not a popularity contest. It's who the people think are best. And that's personally why I haven't reached out to them, because I think it's inappropriate. I think if they have questions, they can reach out to me. I had a public forum where people could ask me questions, and I think that that's the most professional way to leave it. With that, I yield.
You yield at 39 seconds. Okay.
If I may put a statement on that.
Yes, Carter, I was just going to come to you. If you could make a 60-second statement, as we are on a time crunch.
Yes, so I have made contact with the California Highway Patrol, and I am currently within contact with Ed Lane. I do have a meeting with him tomorrow. As for right now, the reason why we didn't make contact with the California Highway Patrol and initiate connections with them is because that they are very patrol based. Even with the LASD and the LAPD, our connections are our tactical teams. Our connections are our detectives. We just opened up LA Impact, which is going to be another thing that is very detective based, if anything. So very gang oriented. Unfortunately, the CHP does not have a tactical team. It doesn't have a detectives division. It doesn't have a gang unit. That's the reason why we didn't have those connections with them already prepared. As we were waiting for the California Highway Patrol to get those connections jump started first before we ended up making connections. But we were always fully open to making those connections. We were just waiting for the right opportunity to allow the California Highway Patrol to put them in themselves.
We appreciate you. Lander, real quickly, 60 seconds on that question, as we are once again on a time crunch and we don't want to hold people over, as we know people are itching for a patrol ping.
So the reason I never really contacted anyone in CHP was because I actually had a few people from CHP contact me. One individual, actually two individuals that are very high within the CHP chain of command actually did contact me directly, stating that if I was to become a sheriff, that they would transfer from their position from the California Highway Patrol, willing to be getting a low COC to a normal deputy rank, simply because I would become the sheriff. I really don't really feel the need to contact or beg anyone to.
Mr. Lander, just to jump on your claim there, we're asking for the voters of the California Highway Patrol to vote for you and why they wasn't reached out to, not for you to give them rank if you win the election. You have 20 seconds to respond to that, Lander, as once again you made the claim that you were going to have people from that agency move over to yours for rank if you win the election, not to have that agency vote for you.
So the rank part, the rank part I kind of added to it. I could send you the exact DMs with the individual. However, they just simply stated clearly stating that if I was to become sheriff, that they would come to me. I had actually talked to the assistant commissioner of the California Highway Patrol yesterday night in a DM call. He did state that LASD does seem to be running well, and he does see that CHP isn't doing the best right now, internal wise. And
Your time is up, sir.
Oh fuck.
I know. I apologize. We're on a crunch, but once again, the answer wasn't there for the officers of CHP who should be voting. You're more again talking for the command staff of transferring and for rank. So this question, once again, for the topic was for the California Highway Patrol officers, lieutenants, sergeants, and captains to vote for all of you candidates that are currently running. Once again,
can I add something to that real quick? I apologize very briefly.
Brennan, you have 15 seconds.
I will take the 15. Thank you. So to add something into that, a biggest reason why I started at the top with command is because I do believe that while yes, command should work behind the scenes, having a good working relationship between our on-the-road officers is priority. If we don't have a good working relationship between the individuals actually on the street working those calls, I mean, you're going to have struggles between the department. So that's why I wanted to reach out the top so we can begin working that relationship between our officers.
Your time is up with 25 seconds. We appreciate you. Pickens did talk on this topic earlier and claimed him being in the CHP as a lieutenant could cause conflictions, and he didn't want to rub it the wrong way. Pretty much the same claims that Johnson had made on his own for people to have their own thoughts. We're going to call on panelists 2 and then 1, and we should be wrapping up here shortly. 2, if you could, with your quickest.
Sorry. Thank you, David. I just have one single question for all candidates. How will you prevent favoritism in promotions or IA decisions?
I'll pick that up. It's very simple. Merit. They promote based off merit. How are they doing? Have a rubric. Grade them. Give them command input. Get command from input from the community throughout the entire command as well, and promote based off merit. If they're doing a good job, they should be in a higher billet. If they're not doing a good job, correct them. There's no reason why they shouldn't be doing a good job. We're all here to help each other. We're all here to promote each other. So do that. Don't just allow them to be shit. You're going to promote off merit. You're going to be able to fix each other.
Mr.
It's
Johnson,
plain and simple.
Your 60 seconds is up. Next person to take the question.
I apologize. Can you please repeat the question?
Ma'am.
Yes. How will you prevent favoritism in promotions or internal affairs decisions? Sorry, I can't speak.
Absolutely. So the easiest way to prevent favoritism is, well, don't have it. I believe strongly behind being firm, fair, and consistent. You need to be firm with your rules and regulations. You need to be fair amongst your decisions between your officers and community. You need to be consistent with them. I do believe that, and it all goes back to transparency. Allow your community to understand what's going on, which is why if I am elected, I do plan on releasing a bi-weekly report to the community so they know what's going on in the agency. And I also do plan on taking the words of the community to help make those decisions of who is worthy of being promoted. It all goes off how they present themselves, the officers that are actually doing those patrols, how they present themselves to the community, how they present themselves. If they don't have the professionalism, integrity, and dedication to uphold the laws that they took an oath to uphold, then by all means, they don't need those positions. And as far as I'm concerned, they don't need to be in
your
the
60
department.
seconds is up.
Yes, thank you.
Would any other member of the candidates want to jump on that? If not, I have a question to push for. Go for it. Yeah, 60 seconds. Make it quick.
So preventing the favoritism in promotions and other sectors of the department, I would say that we do already prevent that favoritism through our standards of who we are looking for. So when we promote someone, we are not looking for, hey, is this guy doing good? We're looking for, hey, this guy wants to make Master FTO. Okay, great. He has to do 10 ride-alongs for the trainees before he can make Master FTO. That is the only time he's eligible for it. If he wants to get from Master FTO to Sergeant, he has to apply. He has to answer pretty basic questions on where he wants to go, why he wants to go there. Then he has a test that he wants to do, which is 8 out of... Yes.
As you're approaching your time real quickly, so I apologize as your time is running out. We're just confirming that you're looking more for a quota and a rewarding system for those who
Yes, very much. Yes, it's very quota-based.
This
So I have
this
a
question,
question from
this
Mr. Carter then.
you have 20 seconds.
Why do you bring people in from other agencies at higher ranks than maybe some people would see fit?
Carter, you have 40.
We actually have a policy against that. We don't allow any transfers any higher than bonus 2. So even in any essence, if Fitzgerald or Barrington were to transfer into LASD, or even Montoya to transfer into LASD, they wouldn't get anything higher than bonus 2. It's an easy way that prevents any of that favoritism or any breaks of structure.
Can I rebut
And
on
does
real
that
quick?
include hiring people that were terminated from other departments at possibly positions of supervision?
Quickly,
No,
very
if
quickly.
people were
gentlemen.
terminated from other departments, 9 times out of 10 they have to reapply.
Okay.
So can I add something real quick? I just have a quick question I want to ask.
Gentlemen, we are very low on time. I'm sorry
It's
to
just
cut you
real
guys
quick.
short.
Just 15 seconds.
You've got 15 seconds, Pickens, only because you haven't spoken, and then I must get to Lander before I can end it off with panelist 1, and then we can all split our ways.
That's fine. All I need. Carter, you said you only bring in transfers as bonus 2, but as Lander stated, when he came in, he was brought in as a sergeant. So I'm just kind of wondering on what you're saying here is true or not, or if you're just lying to us all.
So that was made as an exception from the entire administrative team.
Oh, now it's an exception now. So you make exceptions? Is that what you're saying?
Am I saying that I make exceptions for everyone?
Are you making exceptions for your friends?
All right, gentlemen, we'll have to end it there as that conversation isn't getting anywhere.
Okay.
Gentlemen, we are on a time crunch, and there is over 30 people currently listening, and we appreciate your time.
I can make a written statement on this.
A written statement is well allowed. All candidates in here are fully to go back into their candidate channel and even go and do a Q&A in there to the members in here, or make your posts. Lander, this was over favoritism of rank and things like that. You just prior to the conversation brought up of how you have people who are going to come over and take rank from CHP instead of forming a relationship with the California Highway Patrol. Can you touch on that any further? Because currently it seems that you are in direct, I wouldn't want to say violation, but you are definitely under fire currently, as you've already claimed favoritism prior in your last question.
Can you say that same question again? I'm so sorry.
The current question at topic that we're having, no, it's no worries, is that what are you going to do to ensure that there is no favoritism, promotions, and lateral jumps in rank like prior? The issue at hand is the question prior you answered, which was the last one you answered, sir. You did make a claim. Instead of making a statement on making CHP officers vote for you, you made a claim on taking department administration team to come and join you and give them rank if you were to win sheriff.
Yeah, so I did state at the start that the staff member or the high command member contacted me directly and stated in his first message, quote by quote, that, bro, if you become sheriff, I'm transferring. So, of course, I did add to that. However, in his original message and the messages following, he never stated, oh, give me this rank, give me that rank. I never guaranteed a rank. I never provided, oh, yeah, I'm going to give you a rank. He simply just stated, oh, I'll be transferring. Right? Now, when it comes to ensuring that favoritism doesn't occur,
You have 10 seconds.
Would be a committee where the committee would come together. There would be quotas for different ranks. If you want to become FTO, you would require certain evaluations that would be required. If you want to become
Just to confirm with you, sir, as your time is up, just to real quickly on that. So you're now saying your policy or decision making on that will be the same as Carter's, which now conflicts as the conspiracy from your administration team that you're both running together, as in if whoever wins will get the opposite rank.
Everyone states quotas. I never said specifically. I never said anything about transferring in general, right? All I said is when it comes to promotions, it'd be quota based, and it's also completely based off how you perform. Let's say, for example, you want to become a sergeant, you'd have to be in part of FTO
15
program.
seconds.
Most departments already require this. You'd be required to be an FTO. You'd be required to log a certain amount of hours. You'd also then need to be active in general, and like generally, you have to be active to become a sergeant. And same thing for lieutenant.